Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul, and we are here this morning to say some nice things about ourselves. Oh, I love doing this. It's like a morning ritual for me. It's been helping me to get up out of bed earlier and really just get a head start on my day. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for just being a part of this wonderful experience, and thank you for the people who like this and share this and tell the algorithm that this message needs to go out to more folks. So we are going to be working with my I Am deck today. This deck is full of positive affirmations. And look, it's getting skinny again. We have gone almost all the way through the deck once more. How cool that is. It's coming up on about 150 days that I've been doing this. And yeah, if I had any idea what it would have turned into when I first started it out, this has just been so incredibly beneficial for me. Not just because I get out of bed every morning in order to do it, but also because I get to hear these affirmations, I get to say these affirmations, I get to write them as well. And as I do that, uh, it really helps me with my life too. So we're going to go through one of these cards today. I'm going to pull one off the top of the deck, and we are going to affirm the affirmation on that card. So let's begin by saying that I am courageous. I am courageous. I act in the face of adversity. So I am courageous. I act in the face of adversity. So if you want this to be your affirmation today, I encourage you to say that you are courageous. I'm going to ask you if you are, and you can respond with, I am courageous. So, are you courageous? You are courageous. You act in the face of adversity. So I'm going to write that down in the chat, and I encourage you to write that down in the chat as well. So I am courageous. There we go. Yes, indeed. We are courageous. I see you there, Lauren, writing that you are courageous as well. And the fact is that courage, somebody told me once, they said courage is not a, it is not the absence of fear, because fear is something that exists inside of all of us. It's not the absence of fear, it is acting in spite of fear. It is recognizing that something needs to be done and that inaction is action. That when we don't have an action, that we when we choose not to make an action, when we choose not to do something, that's the choice. We're choosing not to do that something. And so that choice will then lead us to other choices down the road. The British politician, oh goodness, I'm forgetting his name. Oh well, there's a British politician, Neville Chamberlain, in World War II, had this policy of basically appeasement. So as Germany was attacking various countries during World War II, or what would become World War II, Chamberlain was saying, well, let's just be, let's just appease, let's appease, and in doing so, really hurt England substantially. He represented England and really hurt England substantially, because by the time that England finally did have to stand up and fight, they were in a weaker position than if they had just done it at the beginning, when if they had just bit the bullet in the beginning and said, okay, there's war happening and we need to do something about this. So his inaction in that case was really counted against him, and he's not regarded all that well in history because of that decision. So courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting in spite of fear. And how many times has this happened in my life? Oh my goodness. I have a story about, well, probably about 10 years ago now. I rode my motorcycle from Pennsylvania down to Costa Rica. So I had to cross Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, Belize, Nicaragua, and eventually get down to Costa Rica. And I remember that as I went down there, that I was very scared to do an international motorcycle crossing. I'd never done it before. I had never crossed a land border before, leaving the United States. I had never visited Mexico before. I barely spoke Spanish. And here I am going to ride a motorcycle across Mexico and then down through a whole bunch of other countries where many unknown things awaited me. and where I knew for a fact that some people didn't make it through alive. And I was scared. And as I approached the US Mexico border, I mean, I remember I felt this palpable feeling of fear. And I said to myself, do I want to be a person who, in my later years, looks back as a guy who has done this and grown and chosen to act in spite of fear? Or do I want to be a person who gave in to my fear and didn't do it? And so I crossed the border. And 3 months later, I rolled into Costa Rica, and I definitely had quite a few crazy, incredible stories to tell as a result of this, including some that might have possibly ended up with my death. But I didn't die, and therefore I get to tell the stories. And yay, that's cool. I guess if I had died, it would all be a moot point. But the fact is that I got that through safely. My motorcycle got through safely. And even though I took the risk, it all ended well for me. And so I acted in spite of the fear. That doesn't mean I didn't feel the fear. I sure did feel the fear, but I acted in spite of it. So I am courageous today. You are courageous too. And this card is just inviting us to act in spite of fear, to look at the places that we're afraid to move and say, we are making a decision in those places. We're not abdicating our authority in those positions. We still have that same exact amount of authority. It's just we're using that authority to do nothing. And that's a very different a feeling than using the authority to do something. So when we do something, we are empowered, and when we do nothing, we are disempowered. And sometimes nothing is the right choice, but most of the time, nothing is a fear-based choice. So be courageous and do something, and recognize that the some things that we do allow us to, at the end, really be proud of the decisions that we're making and end up in an intentional place. So I want to say thank you guys so very much for commenting here. I see these strings of comments. That's just wonderful. It is always incredible to watch the folks who are interacting with this broadcast. So thank you guys much. Thank you for interacting with each other, and I appreciate you. If you need a specific affirmation, you can find it linked on my YouTube channel, which the link is in the video description. Until then, I want to say thank you again, and aloha from paradise.